Matt Lenihan for Boxing Social in association with William Hill and Empire Fight Store. Delighted as always to be joined by Dev Sahni. Dev, another epic press conference performance from yourself, Michael Conlan, Alberto Lopez. It's got a really big fight feel, this as well, and it's even better the fact that they're doing the ring walks. We think probably between 9 and 20 past 9, get it on early. It's what boxing should be doing, communicating to each other. How pumped are you for this fight? It's going to be a good one.
I'm pumped, Matt. I'm pumped. Thanks for saying it was an epic presser. I think it was quite a long one, wasn't it? Like there was
about 45 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, and about 45 people at the top table. But it was good fun. It was good fun. There's a tension between them. You can tell that. There's also a respect. I think Mick knows, and you know Mick like very well as well. He's so cool this week, and I think he knows he needs to be cool. And maybe he lost his head a little bit in Nottingham in the build-up and on fight night as well against Leigh Wood. A heated kind of rivalry, and he knows he needs to keep a cool head. And he'll have to do that against Lopez. He'll have all those fans screaming his name and all that. I don't know how he's going to do it. I don't know if I'd be able to do it. Probably not. I mean, definitely not. But, you know, it's a tough deal for him. I'm pumped to be in Belfast. I love Belfast. When I first started at Box Nation back in, 2014, one of my first assignments was to go out for Frampton versus Martinez at the Titanic Quarter, and it was freezing, but it was a really, really good night. It was iconic. And of course, look, last time I was here, Windsor Park, mate, Europa Hotel, Deontay Wilder's there going bomb squad, shouting all of that out. So these are fine memories I have of Belfast.
Absolutely. Luis Alberto Lopez comes into this having experienced a raucous atmosphere in Leeds. He will experience something similar. I spoke to Adam Booth not too long ago, and I said, do you believe the fact that he's had that sort of Lion's Den moment and now he's coming into another one, that the crowd won't bother him at all, even if they did before? And he goes, this will be nothing to do with the crowd. Mm-hmm. They will not affect him one bit. Mm-hmm. How much of an advantage is that for him? The fact he's experienced it before, but he'll have it on the night. Although he'll walk second, but to have that feeling of I know what to expect mentally, it must be massive.
Yeah, look, there won't be a more hostile crowd that he'll probably ever go into in his whole career than Josh Warrington in Leeds. So he went there, and he emerged as a world champion. Is your light all right?
It's fine, mate. No, I'm not having it on. I chose not to. The lighting's perfect for this shot, my friend.
Lighting's perfect. But yeah, the fact that he went to Warrington away, had Josh Warrington, coming at him and, getting rough in there with him, having all those crowd, the Leeds fans going after him, and he still emerged as a world champion. It won't get tougher than that in terms of being an away fighter. I don't think Belfast will be as hostile as Leeds was for him. I think Belfast is a more kind of knowledgeable crowd, is my feeling. But let's see. Look, maybe they're going to prove me wrong, but they'll be a great crowd. They'll be there from the first bell of the day till the last one. But I don't think they'll be making Luis Alberto Lopez feel any type of way. I think he's just wired up a little bit differently.
Absolutely. Well, look, it looks like it's going to be a cracking fight from the outside looking in. The bookies can't split it. Can you split it?
It's tough. I give Lopez so much respect for going to Leeds away and coming away with the world title. That's no easy thing to do. He really had to wrest that from Josh Warrington. So his stock is very high for me. He might be the best featherweight in the world. It feels like it's sort of between him and Lara and obviously Nick Ball as to who the best featherweight in the world is. Nick Ball's time will come. But yeah, can I split them? I don't know. Maybe the home crowd can help Mick get to victory.
You mentioned Leigh Wood there, and obviously Mauricio Lara. They're going to be fighting, same night. What do you expect from that? I've spoken to a few people about this. A lot of people are saying too soon after the last one. It feels like it's only happened about a month ago, that fight. It's come around really quickly, but Leigh obviously will know what he did wrong in the first fight. One mistake, the whole fight. But he boxed beautifully. Mauricio Lara can only get better from that fight in terms of he started maybe a little bit late. I thought he seemed a bit fatigued. What do you think happens in the rematch?
So I guess the question is, what can Leigh Wood do differently? He made a mistake in the first fight, so now he needs to make no mistakes. Can you make no mistakes over 12 rounds against Lara? I don't know. I hope so, and I'm a big fan of Leigh Wood. The fact that he even fought Lara in the first place, no one was telling him to fight Lara. It wasn't his mandatory or anything like that. He was just like, get me Lara. And he went after him. He went after the murderous puncher in the division. And he nearly beat him. So he's got my full respect. And again now, he's jumping in, I don't know, it feels like 2 weeks later. Or I don't know. How long?
Not quick, months, but it's come round. It feels literally like it was last month kind of thing. It feels that fresh in the memory.
Yeah, look, he's jumping right in there. He's got massive cojones. You can't not respect Leigh Wood, and I'm a fan of the camp as well. I like Ben Davison, obviously, and you know, it would be nice. It would be really nice to see him win it. It's a tough ask though. Lara punches very, very hard.
Let me talk to you about Tyson Fury. So I saw Tyson in Tenerife a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
It was one of the strangest experiences of my boxing career. I didn't think I'd be doing a press conference at Siam Park, but it was a delight. He was in good form. He answered one of the questions and says, "Yeah, I'm looking at a few places out here to maybe do a fight." He's now bounced to Australia and said, "Yeah, I'll fight out here." Rumours of Dempsey McKean being a front runner. I think someone from Jay Opetay's team saying close to being finalised. What is going on with the big GK, and do you believe any of these rumours?
I don't know. I'm not the right person to ask about his any developments on what he's going to do next, who he's going to fight, who he's not going to fight. I just know from my perspective, I would like to see him fight. If that's anywhere in the world, I don't really mind. I'm a big Tyson Fury fan, and it would be great to see the best heavyweight in the world fight. So hopefully we get to see that soon.
Is it a bit of a letdown if he does fight a level of opponent of a Jay Opetay? And I say that with all respect in the world, considering the weight class he is, but then moving on to a Dempsey McKean, and obviously again, I'm not saying this with any disrespect, but when we talk about Tyson Fury, we talk about, you know, your Usyks, your Wilders, your Joshuas, and that elite level. What does it do for him if he does fight them? Is it a case of he sees this as, I want to be active, I don't care if it's a bin man, I want to fight? How do you see it when you see him being linked with these sort of levels of opponents? Listen,
you can never please boxing fans, right? But look, you could probably even make Tyson Fury versus Usyk, right? The fight that everyone wants to see, and there will be people complaining. There will still be people complaining. You can make the Tyson against Joshua fight, and there will be people saying, why is he not fighting Usyk? He's ducking Usyk, etc., etc. So I just want to see him fight again. I mean, in terms of who he's going to fight, let's see. Let's just make sure he's in the ring.
I spoke to Bob Arum and asked him about the flip side to that potential mega card in Saudi on Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, because of his experience of seeing Tyson, you know, go toe to toe with Deontay over 3 fights. Potentially, you know, technically won all 3. I think everyone would agree with that, although the first was a draw. And he said it's just a matter of when Deontay would knock Anthony Joshua out. Do you concur with that assessment, or do you believe it'd be different?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is
It's not a slacking arm. It's an opinion.
Yeah, it's an opinion, but boxing's weird. Boxing is weird. Cole Froch had an opinion on this the other week, and he said that Wilder would knock Joshua out, I think, pretty quickly. And then he was getting accused of disrespecting Anthony Joshua just for picking one guy to beat him. It's not disrespectful to pick one fighter to beat another fighter in a boxing match, right? I have long believed that Deontay Wilder would knock out Anthony Joshua. It's nothing against Anthony Joshua. Deontay Wilder knocks most people out, right? Everyone, really, apart from Tyson Fury. So I think Anthony Joshua would join that list. I think, especially this version now, a bit tentative. Maybe he's a bit more reluctant to pull the trigger. There doesn't appear any reluctance from Deontay Wilder to pull the trigger. I think, yeah, whilst Joshua's probably thinking about what he's going to do in there, it may already be too late.
Purse bids, Oleksandr Usyk, Daniel Dubois, are they today by any chance?
Apparently so. Yeah, I think so, yeah.
What do you think happens? Do you think we do see that fight in the meantime? Or do you think there'll be something put in place where, you know, we don't see what do you think comes of this, is my question. Do you actually think we see Dubois and Usyk in a ring before the end of this year?
I don't see why we wouldn't. I mean, if they were trying to make the fight, right, they were trying to do a deal, Usyk's team and Dubois' team, Queensbury, etc., and it's gone to purse bids because they've asked for purse bids. So someone's going to win the purse bids, and the fight will be ordered. Like, that's where we are.
You don't expect no dramas last minute then, and it just come apart. We see purse bid situations, especially over the past couple of months, where people get withdrawn and things like that. You don't expect anything like that?
I don't think so right now. But look, one thing I've learned is you just never know in purse bids. I've done a purse bid before. I was out there once. It was Billy Joe Saunders against Demetrius Andrade, and they sent me out there with my little envelope like to do it, and I had it all written down and everything. And then literally just before I was about to hand it in, they called me and said, no, we've done a deal now. So I was essentially on a fool's errand, sent out there to do a purse bid. But look, you just never know, and you never know till you see it.
Daniel Dubois, Oleksandr Usyk. Daniel's really got a chance here to upset the whole landscape of what could potentially happen in December. A lot of people still favour Oleksandr Usyk, maybe, and rightly so, but Daniel Dubois is a natural heavyweight. He's a genuine big man. Regardless of maybe his last performance where people questioning him, he's still a heavy-hitting, heavy-punching heavyweight. What chance do you give him against the likes of an Oleksandr Usyk?
Listen, Usyk's the favourite. He'll be the favourite for a reason. What you can point to as a reason why Dubois could have success in this fight is all of those things that you've mentioned. Daniel Dubois has got someone in front of him who is 10 years older than him. He's smaller than him, and he doesn't hit as hard as him. So Daniel Dubois is the sort of guy that you would think after the Joe Joyce fight maybe a bit more, I don't know, gun shy after going through something like that. He's not at all. He's still whacking away, at times quite recklessly. And that's probably what you need against Oleksandr Usyk. You just need to be able to back yourself as the bigger, stronger guy, the fresher guy, who can go in there and do a job. I don't think that he will be overthinking this. I think he'll see this as a mission in front of him. Little old fella, let's see if he can go and knock him out. That's what Daniel Dubois should be thinking, and that's what I'd encourage him to think for this fight. And he's got a chance. Of course he has. It's heavyweight boxing, and he's one of the heaviest hitting heavyweights out there.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see how that sort of progresses. Errol Spence, Terence Crawford. Looks like we have a deal in place. I'm still on edge about whether it happens because I want to see an official poster, press conference, all that kind of stuff being announced. But how exciting, potentially, I believe, July 29th, we get to see pound for pound the two best welterweights go at it in what will be, I think it's picking up. It's been a great year for boxing. When you look at the big fights that can be made in terms of Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, if we get Spence, Crawford, hopefully back in, we get this mega thing in Saudi and boxing sort of to the forefront again. How do you see that fight? It's an unbelievable fight, and Las Vegas will be rocking that week.
Yeah, unbelievable fight. Like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh wow, July 29th, this is it. I know what I need to watch that night. This is absolutely huge, and I will be watching Liam Davis against Jason Cunningham. That is really the big fight that's really got the juices flowing, right, Matt? Come on, European super bantamweight title on the line. That's the one, right? And then there's a little matter of a Vegas fight later.
Absolutely. Well, that's what I was alluding to.
Yeah.
I was teeing you up there for the knockout of the park, and that's exactly what happened. So I'll tell you what, we can talk about that fight. Let's talk about that one first then. Who would you give the edge to?
What, Liam Davis, Jason?
Yeah, let's do it. You brought it up. You wanted to make the point. Let's roll with it.
Listen, I'm not going to make a pick because there will be a press conference coming up and I'll be sat in between them. And I don't want Cunningham saying to me, well, you said this. And I don't want Liam Davis saying to me, you said this.
What type of fight can we expect then? It's obviously it is a really good fight. We will come on to Spencer Crawford, but that is, right for the start, is a really good fight. How do you expect it to play out? Can we expect fireworks? Will it be tactical? What do you expect?
I think fireworks pretty early. I think Liam Davis is going to try and knock him out. I think he's really going to try and make a statement. And they've been beefing a little bit. Jason Cunningham's not the sort of person that gets into beef with people on Twitter. Go and check his feed. He has been beefing with Liam Davis, so I'm very excited. I've saved all the tweets. I'll be bringing them up at the presser. So I think Liam Davis is going to try everything he can to knock him out.
So homework already done for the presser. I'll make sure I'm definitely watching that because I know you like to get the wooden spoon out a little bit. Right.
The other one.
Spence Crawford. You know that little small old show in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Talk to me about it. Both have got tremendous attributes coming into the fight. You tell me what you think happens.
So you talked about, I'm not sure whether or not it's done, but seeing Errol, Terence Crawford do that really elaborate Instagram post.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, algorithm-wise, I don't know how good it was to just keep posting on the main feed, but
That moment.
for that moment, it was probably worth it. Yeah, that's an encouraging sign. It feels like it's done. All reputable journalists are talking about how it's done. So great. Oh, at last. Honestly, like we got Tank versus Garcia, as you said. We got Tank versus Garcia. Spence Crawford. Is it a bit late? I don't know. How old's Crawford now? 35, 36?
Yeah, I think in terms of the lateness, I think it had to be this year, really, or early next. But before we get to start talking at that point of why have we not done it, and it is getting into the realms of your Pacquiao Mayweather stuff. But I think now's as good a time as any.
It's probably, as you say, the final window in which we can make this fight. So I'm glad it's happening. For a long time, when it was talked about, I'd always favoured Errol Spence. I thought Errol Spence was I thought he was fantastic. And the way he beat Kell Brook and some of his performances, even just before that, right? I was talking about this fight earlier where I think it was the Italian fella, that Bundu. That's it. It was
Yes.
Leonard Bundu. He knocked him out in 2 rounds and he jumped up to the top rope and he started doing the strap me up gesture with the arms. Oh, I thought, this guy. Yeah, strap season. I love it when a challenger does that, makes a statement and jumps up to the top rope and says, strap me up. So I love all that about Errol Spence. I think Terence Crawford now, though, I think he's grown into a massive welterweight. I used to just think he was coming up from lightweight, super lightweight. I thought he was just be too small for Spence. But he's got quite big now and he looks like he's hitting very hard. But I think I have to look at what he did against Sean Porter. That was very, very impressive. You don't just knock out Sean Porter, right? So use that as a bit of a thing there, and I'd just about make him the favourite now.
Yeah, it was a ruthless finish that against a quality operator in Sean Porter. Well, look, there's so many big fights coming up. It's been a pleasure talking to you today, Dev. Hopefully we can catch up after the fight, and really looking forward to Saturday. It's going to be a good fight.
I'm looking forward to it too, and what you need to really look forward to is Nick Ball on Saturday.
Sorry, I did have him written down. I tried doing this, off the cuff. We do Nick Ball. Yeah, there's a few on the card actually. Nick Ball, Pierce O'Leary, more. But like I said, these 2 guys are putting on statement victories, looking very impressive. And I know, obviously, from a Queensbury standpoint, you guys, Francis, George was coming over as well. We'll be having a keen eye on their progression. Talk to me about them 2 fighters and where you see them going over the next couple of years.
Listen, I think we saw something today. Nick Ball sat there and the world champion sat behind him and the belt is literally just behind Nick Ball's head. And I don't think it'll be very long till that belt, not necessarily that one, the red and gold, but a belt is in front of him as a world champion. I think he's top draw and I think he may well steal the show on Saturday. You know how I talk about, knocking someone out and then climbing up to the top rope, beating your chest, saying strap me up? I want to see one of those moments from Nick Ball, and we may well get it. Every time he gets a chance on a big stage, he takes it. And you saw what he did against Isaac Lowe, not fazed by Wembley Stadium, not fazed by boxing Tyson Fury's mate, just went and did what he wanted to do and made a massive statement. I think he could go all the way, and he's a proper fighter. If you're not following him on Instagram, just go and follow him. Trust me, you will be going for runs if you don't already.
What about a fight between him and Jazza Dickens? Jazza obviously wanted to get the Josh Warrington fight. That's not happening. Jazza's got an IBO world title. Nick Ball's obviously wanting to put himself in that bracket, in that contention. I'm sure he possibly looks good this weekend and gets his knockout. But Jazza Dickens, that'd be a good step up for him, would it not? At this point, Liverpool fight.
It's a good fight. I think Nick Ball will fight anyone. Like you put any name to him and he'll say, yeah, sure. Let me know when. So, Nick Ball wouldn't be fazed by fights with the likes of him or anyone, really. I don't know. Let's see what happens with him on Saturday. Let's see if he can make a big statement. He wants the winner at this fight. He's made it pretty clear. He said, get me on the undercard and get me the winner. Well, Queensbury have done part 1 for him. Let's see if part 2 is possible.
Do you think part 2 is possible? I don't mean that with a slant, because of obviously if Michael wins, you would assume, I'm not sure what the rematch situation is, because obviously it's a tough voluntary. I'm assuming there's something there, but I'm not sure what. Say that happens again, or whoever wins, the bigger fights would be potentially unifications with Lara and Wood, But then if Warrington's already agreed, do you think it's going to be because he'll be able to get that next? Is it going to be hard?
Part of this will be up to Nick Ball because he's got to create the fans wanting it. And if he does that in front of the Belfast fans, if they leave that arena talking about Nick Ball, as well as Mick Conlan potentially if he wins, right? If they leave that arena thinking about Nick Ball, there will start being a bit of a call for that fight. So I think there's every possibility. I don't know if he's being positioned towards the IBF title. I'm not sure on the politics of it all, but he'll get himself a world title shot. Well, if it's Mick Conlan or someone else, he'll have a world title around his waist very soon.
It's going to be an interesting little journey for him, an exciting one. Once again, he's someone who puts on terrific performances. Look, Dev, thank you for giving us so much of your time. We've talked and covered quite a lot. Fingers crossed, we'll catch up after the fight and discuss what's been a tremendous main event.
All right. See you later. Thanks.
Appreciate it.